Did you have a favorite teacher? When you think back to your schooling, whether it's elementary school or middle school or high school or college, can you identify one teacher that was your favorite teacher? Was there a class that you were excited to go to that clearly had a teacher that was passionate about the subject, cared about their students' outcomes, and empowered them to be learners? Almost all of us can answer yes to that. Some people have a natural ability to make concepts simple and teach people about their subject matter. And that's the basis for our framework, because we believe you could be the favorite teacher in the business world too. If you like today's video, be sure to like it, smash that subscribe button so you don't miss future content. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. We personally respond to them and we love talking to you. In today's video, I want to break down the favorite teacher framework. This is a methodology that we use at Roloff Consulting to help business leaders show up online with authority and build trust at scale. Because we believe the best salespeople are actually teachers. Because people buy from people they trust. And teaching people, empowering people, showing them your expertise is one of the best ways to build that trust. Because nobody wants to be sold to. Nobody wants cold pitches. What they want is a partner and someone who's working with them on their strategy and teaching them about the problems they have, the solutions, and ultimately the plan to be successful. And if you can be that favorite teacher in your industry, if you can be the one that stands out as that expert who has the ability to teach people and show them the path and solve their problems, you will win a lot more business. This is a framework that we have personally used to grow our sales both in this business and in past sales roles, and we embrace that role as that favorite teacher and a way to build that trust at scale and have people who want to work with us versus chasing after customers. So in today's video, I'm going to break down what the favorite teacher framework is and some tips on how you can get started using it. But first, let's talk about why this methodology works. In the digital age, our prospects are online. They are searching on AI and on Google search and on social media, and they have a problem in their business and they're looking for solutions. They're not waiting by the phone for a cold call or a cold email. What they want is to find someone who will teach them about the problem and show them the path forward. At the same time, our prospects are overwhelmed and being bombarded by tons of messages and tons of noise in the marketplace. Because of this, it's a very low trust selling environment. So what's the answer? The answer is to be the favorite teacher. It's you as a business leader leveraging your expertise in your industry to teach other people, empower other people, and build that trust. And when you do this, you're going to shorten your sales cycle, you're going to get more inbound leads, and honestly, it's going to be a lot more enjoyable to actually run your business. Because I personally believe that all of us are in business because we enjoy solving other people's problems. Because we enjoy helping people. And being a favorite teacher is a great way to do that. Your favorite teacher didn't sell you, they helped you understand. So now let's actually dive into the favorite teacher framework. This is a simple way to build trust, authority, and ultimately grow your revenue. The framework itself is actually very simple. It's only 3 stages. At the very top of the funnel is educate. In the middle is connect, at the bottom is consult. At the educate phase, your goal is to expand your reach and expand your authority by publishing educational content online. At this stage, you're trying to get impressions and reach more people. At the connect phase is where you actually take that audience that you're developing and turn them into identifiable leads. You do this by calls to action and lead magnets and encouraging people to take a step forward in solving their problem with you. And then finally, at the consult phase, your job is to be that trusted advisor and guide people to a solution. Now let's break them down in detail. So the educate phase. This is where you define your student, create content, and reach more people. We always say one of the most important things you can do with this phase is know who your audience is. Or in other words, know who your student is. You want to define that ideal buyer so you know who they are, what their problem is, why they're buying, how they're buying. Ultimately, what we're doing is building out a buyer persona. If you don't already have that in your business, my recommendation is to just think of your favorite customer, or AKA favorite student. Who's a customer that you're already working with that if you had 100 more of them in your business, you'd be super successful. As you go about creating that content, think of that person and use them as your North Star for the kind of content you want to create. And then, of course, you have to actually create the content. So put on that teacher hat and think about how can you teach people about the problems they're facing. What are those common questions you get on a regular basis that help your ideal customer identify that problem in their business? And then what are those common questions you get to actually explain the solution that you offer? My suggestion here is to keep it really basic. Think of yourself as a teacher teaching a 101 level course. Just because you're the expert doesn't mean your customers are. So create content that helps them understand the basics and empowers them to make decisions. Create this content on a regular basis, publish it on places like LinkedIn or on YouTube or on Instagram. Wherever your ideal student is, that's where you should be creating content. If you do this consistently, you'll start showing up on news feeds, in AI searches, and on Google search. This is where you start to raise your visibility and ultimately start building trust at scale. This enables you to be the favorite teacher for your industry and the go-to resource. So that is the educate part of the funnel. The next part of the funnel is connect. As you do all that work educating people and getting visibility, the problem is you don't really know who you're talking to, right? You just see numbers and metrics as far as impressions go. So how do you turn those impressions into actual people that you can sell to? That's what the connection stage is all about. As people consume your content, they start to feel empowered and educated about the problems and solutions. So what you do at the connect phase is actually give them a call to action or a next step to work with you. In some cases, this is a contact us button or request a quote, or maybe book a discovery call, or other times it's more of a transitional call to action, like join our webinar or sign up for our newsletter. More than anything in this connect phase, you just want to give people a clear next step. One of the best ways to do this as a favorite teacher is to create additional educational content in things like lead magnets. So think of guides or webinars or checklists, tools that your buyers can use that will help them move further down that path of solving their problem. This is a great way to show your expertise and provide additional value before that prospect even starts working with you. Done correctly, lead magnets can jump up your close rate drastically. But the key is to make sure that the guide or webinar or resource is actually valuable because you want it to be a reflection of the work that you do. So again, your goal here in the connect phase is to turn those impressions into actual leads that you can put into your sales pipeline, which then moves us down to the consult phase. At the bottom of our favorite teacher framework, it's all about being that trusted guide. Because think about it, you've already done the work of building that trust. People have consumed your educational content during that top part of the funnel. So they've read your blog posts, they've attended webinars, they've seen your social content. They already see you as an expert, and now they want your help. This is a major shift from more traditional sales funnels. Because typically at the bottom of a traditional sales funnel, you're still trying to convince people to work with you. It's all about tactics and psychological tricks to get people to sign the dotted line. But in our favorite teacher framework, the trust is already there. It's more a matter of guiding them through the process. So in this part of the sales process, you're going to be asking good questions. You're going to be their personal consultant on their journey to solve their problems. You're going to show them where they are now and where they can be if they move forward. And ultimately, like a good teacher, you're going to simplify the process and bring clarity and make them feel good about it. Because the best teachers don't just talk at their students, they empower them to take action. If you do this correctly, you're going to have shorter sales cycles, higher close rates, and happier customers, because everyone in your industry is going to want to work with that favorite teacher. So that is a very brief overview of our favorite teacher framework. So again, at the very top of the funnel is educate. This is where you create educational content and build trust at scale. And the middle funnel is connect, and that's where you take your audience and actually develop them into sales leads. And the bottom of the funnel is consult, where you are that trusted advisor that helps solve people's problems. There's a lot more that goes into the strategy, but a lot of it comes down to mindset. You are no longer a salesperson pushing sales on people. You are that favorite teacher who is empowering people to buy and solve their problems. If you want one simple step to get started on actually implementing that favorite teacher framework this week, it's this. Think of one frequently asked question that your prospects ask during discovery calls and create some piece of content about it. Record a video, make a LinkedIn post, answer that question, use your knowledge and your expertise in your industry, and help teach people about that. Start getting that mindset of being the favorite teacher and using your knowledge to help others. And then, of course, do it again and again and again, build in more of these strategies, and ultimately, it's going to help you be successful and grow your business. Because people buy from people they trust. And the best way to do that is to be the favorite teacher.